We are locked into tier list today with playmaking on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We have tons of tier lists, and right now we're focusing on playmaking. This is one of the most important in the game for any build. You got to have a little bit of playmaking to be able to be efficient if you're a point guard for sure, and then also even a center. So we're going to go into all of it right now. So lock in. Thank you for tuning in. Here we go. All right. So playmaking is critical. It doesn't matter what build you are, just to be clear. And we want to continue to emphasize that as we go forward and we go through it. So we're going to start off with ankle breaker, guys. Ankle breaker is a fun badge. It is not necessary in the competitive scene as much. It's not something that we're focused on. But if you're in the park, you want to have some fun, it is useful and it is really good stuff to do. It's a great time. But I have it at B because of that reason. You're not going to be utilizing this nonstop all day long as we go forward. Okay. Now, this year, I have to say that bailout is very powerful. I would have put it in S tier, but it's at A tier because it costs a lot to get it at the maximum rate at a 99 on Hall of Fame. But you just need an 87 pass accuracy for this badge. And any point guard should have it 87 automatically. And this is why I have it at A, because you're going to be able to drive and kick or just pass the ball when you don't like what's going on. And it's going to save you big time. This is one of those save you badges, let's just say. All right. With that being said, we're going to move over to Needle Threader, another badge. It's specific, necessary for certain builds. I will say this, that you might not feel the effects. You might think, oh, it's not really working. It does work, okay? I have a 75 for my center, and I throw the outlet passes after a rebound. And this thing has been top tier for me, even though it's not necessarily like overpowered or anything. I'm sorry, 77 for passing on this one. But the point is, for real guards, when you have this on silver or higher, which an 84 is all it takes to get to silver, you're going to be able to dot people and get through those weird passes that you shouldn't have gotten off in there. Okay. Another badge, I personally am going to put it at a very high tier. I'm going to put it on S tier. I'm going to promote this for everybody because it is going to allow you to really get passes out that you need to as you go forward. So basically, imagine you're at the top of the key, you get the ball from somebody's open though, but they didn't pass it to the right person, they passed it to you. You're able to throw the pass outlet further, faster, because of touch pass. And this badge is super clutch, and I would recommend anybody, you know, a 74 for bronze, having it at least on bronze. Okay. And then for the big man, rake starter, another pass first, which isn't necessary, but for big man it is very useful. If you're a big man, you want break starter, it's going to allow you to kick the ball out further. It doesn't cost too much. With a 75 for silver, you're going to be fine, and it's going to do its job, which is basically get you cleaner, more accurate passes. You ever seen when somebody fumbles the ball? That has nothing to do with the actual catcher. It's the person passing the ball that caused that fumble because you don't have high pass accuracy. All right. And then you got post playmaker. This isn't a badge that I'm going to recommend too much. If you're a post player, it is nice to have, but it's not something that a lot of players do, specifically in 2K. So I'm putting it at B. We're not going to talk about it too much. It can be useful if you're a hardcore post player. You can probably put that up a little bit higher. Okay, here we go. This is one of those badges. Is it broken? I will say yes. And hopefully the devs do not nerf this, but physical handles really does some miracles, and you'll be surprised. You're able to just keep people off you. You know, you have these defenders trying to press you, trying to stop you, and this basically makes it so you're unbothered. Let's just say I'm gonna call it the unbothered badge because it's really good and it doesn't cost a lot, guys. You need a little bit of ball handle and some strength. Okay, with an 83 overall in strength, you have Hall of Fame physical handles as long as you have dribbles at an 80. So if you make a build with some type of strength, you're going to be able to combine this at a decent rate, and it's basically going to make the lockdowns have a hard time pushing you off. And I have videos showcasing this at my 6'8" guard pushing people off of me consistently, and that's what I would recommend for that. Okay, Dimer, one of those badges. Listen, it's not necessary for top players. They don't need a boost. But if you're anybody else and you're not playing top tier players in the world, put on Dimer. It doesn't cost much. You're going to put on pass accuracy pretty high, right? I would think it's above 73. That is the rate that you need it on to get it on silver. It can be very useful. It's going to help you become a better player. And it's necessary to make your teammates better. By making them better, you make yourself better. All right. And this is one of my favorite badges in the game. I would put it on S tier right now, to be honest. But triple strike, it is very powerful. This is the first time that the triple threat is extremely different. All right. So you can do more than just the pivot, jab, step, spin around this year, and you can do it more effectively with triple strike. It's going to give you those launches a little better. This is a natural badge where you don't have to practice much and you don't have to have extremely high ratings to unlock it. Every build will have a little bit of this most likely, but this is really fun way to play, and you should look into it. And I have some videos coming for triple threats, and I recommend it big time. Okay, now we're gonna get into some things that people might not like. Killer combos. You have to be an elite player to use this properly and to make it as efficient as it should be. And I love killer combos personally because I do like to ISO, but basically it's gonna allow you to do size ups a lot more effectively pretty easily. Now, do you need size up? Every build doesn't need it. That's why I have it on a lower tier, on a B. But it is a nice badge to have if that's your play style. You're going to stay focused on ISOing. And I would probably put it on A if that's your main way to play. All right, handles for days. Only if you're a guard, this will be an A. All right, if you're not a guard, you can put it down to a B or even a C, because a center doesn't need handles for days at all. A power forward most likely doesn't need it either. Even a small forward most likely won't need it. They're not bringing the ball up the court. They're not doing any extra dribbles or anything fancy. They're getting the job done with efficiency more than anything. So handles for days, even though it's a great badge for the player who's using it, which is the guards, that's why I have it at an A. All right. Well, special delivery. Guess what? Another one of those badges where I love it. It's a fun badge because you can throw alley-oops and things like that, but it isn't necessary. All right, it's one of those badges that you don't actually need it, and it's unless your focus is specifically on alley-oops, then you can go with special delivery. And that's what I got to say about that. If you're not specifically going for that with a teammate who knows that you're going to be doing alley-oops all game, some people are just not ready for it, just to be honest. No offense to anybody who's not ready for it. Okay, and then relay passer. This is another one of those sleeper badges you won't tell. I'm going to put it on the C tier specifically because guess what? You probably are like most people, don't realize that you're boosting people's shots by doing an extra pass. So the extra pass will boost someone's shot. So if you get a pass and you pass it, that pass to assist situation boosts the shooter. It is another one of those help the team badges that not a lot of people know exists, but it's very useful. And you can get it naturally. You don't need to spend a lot to try and unlock it or do anything like that. It's going to be there regardless. All right. And now we're getting into some of the interesting ones. Unpluggable. Let's just put it on the F tier, guys. I'm just joking. Am I gonna put it on C tier? What do y'all think? Where y'all heads is at? Is it no? Listen, on Hall of Fame, it has been decent. Okay, it isn't the best. It isn't the worst. I will say this about Unpluggable at a B because it does help. Okay, you're probably not gonna stop the 99 glove, but it is going to stop a lot of players. And this badge is unknown. And what I mean by that is that you do these crazy dribbles in front of a player, and Unpluggable is allowing you not to get stripped. And you blame the game when you do get stripped or you don't get stripped, when in reality, they have this basically babysitting badge is what it's called. And it makes it so that you can do weird things that you shouldn't be doing in a basketball game. Okay, when you cross over and you do, and somebody's on the ball hand and you think that that's not going to fumble in real life, it will fumble. And that's where Unpluggable is powerful, even though we're having the current state of gloves probably getting nerfed at some point in the near future. That being said, Hyperdrive, to me, a really good badge. It's necessary. You need that speed as a guard. You want to be able to cross people up and get to the lane and consistently score. And this is one of those things that if you're moving forward and you're trying to get the play going, you're going to be fine with this at that level. All right. And then now we're going to get into one of the most critical badges of the year and one of the most fun. And I saved these for last. All right. I absolutely saved these for last. And I love them. And we're going to start off with Speed Booster. Speed Booster, just for the name alone, we're going to put it on S tier. Right. And the reason for this, Speed Booster is going to let you explode, do a burst to attack anywhere from on top of the key. And you get those very good animations to be able, and I'm going to make this bigger so while we talk about it. This right here is the best when it comes to making an explosive move. And we love that in 2K for the ball handlers. And this is one of those badges that is going to enable you to do that at a very high rate. So you want to have this. And just to kind of point it out, and if you already have your build, it is what it is. But for maximum, you need a 95 ball handle. And then you got to have a 91 speed with ball. This is very extreme. But at the lower levels, you can have an 81 ball handle and a 75 speed with ball, which pretty much a lot of builds can have that. My 6.8 has more than that, which allows me to get silver Speed Booster. So it allows me to do some work. And I think, you know, if you're a guard, you want to have this at the highest rate you can. It's very useful and very efficient, to say the least. All right, last but not least, Blowout. Blowout is an interesting badge, okay? It is basically one of those get past the defender. And I don't want to put it too high. I feel like it's in between A and B. I'm going to put it like right here and make it bigger. And the reason for this, the reason I'm having it a little bit of a mixed bag is because there is an issue where it's a skill gap thing. There's a way to utilize it proper, but it is a risk and you don't want to force it if you don't have to. Okay. Now this doesn't cost too much. Okay. If you want it on gold, you can get an 83 speed with ball and acceleration with some ball handle at a 92. That's a decent number. You don't have to maximize it at a 99 or nothing like that. And then you'll be able to really utilize this. Now, is that necessary is the question. It's still up for debate. Sooner or later, people will figure this out and slow it down and be able to steal the ball consistently. That's something that I've been doing. Anytime I see somebody try to do a blowout, I'm spamming steal at that moment to try to get it. So even though I'm trying to promote it into A, it'll probably drop down to B and end up right here throughout the year as we go forward. Once again, this is just a tier list 2 weeks into the game. I put over 200 hours in. I have 3 builds. One of them is a center at 6'8". I have a point guard at 6'3", who's basically an ISO hardcore shooter. And then I have my hybrid 6'8" point guard with a lot of strength, who basically can do pretty much everything. I love that build as well. But getting that play style, understanding the game better, and then playing with a lot of people, asking them about these badges, trying to see what's best. Feel free to drop what you think or what you like or you agree or disagree with. There's no wrong answer. Let's say you utilize a badge better than I do. For example, I said special delivery. It is a great badge for those who utilize it. Now, if I don't play with a lot of players and I'm solo queuing, this is not going to work because people are not ready for that. So it's one of those things where it just depends on what mode you play, who you play with, and so much more. I did the generalization here. Feel free to drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Let me know what you want to see in the future. We have a lot of tier lists coming. This is going to be updated in the near future. I'm hoping y'all enjoyed this. I'll see you soon on the court. Peace.